Well, greetings everyone. Jen Keller here, Director of Parish Engagement here at St. Patrick Church, and I'm joined today with Josh and Michael, our seminarians. You have been meeting them over the course of the last several weeks. They've actually been on the side where they are meeting our parishioners throughout the parish, which is something that we have asked them to do, sending them out on mission to get to meet the people, the great people of St. Patrick Parish. And here today, we're with them now. They're almost done their first semester, so to speak, of their apostolate here at St. Patrick. I think they're with us maybe 2 more Thursdays before they break for their winter break and rejoin us again back in the year in January of 2025. Hard to believe. But we were just speaking earlier today in that they're in their 3rd year of seminary, and just wanted to have an opportunity to get to know them a little bit and to hear how the apostolate here at St. Patrick is going for them so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. We've been very blessed to be here at St. Patrick's. This is my 3rd apostolate at being at St. Charles, and what's neat is that it's so unique and different than my previous 2. In particular, the emphasis that we've had and the chance we've had to really just get to encounter people at a deeper level, get to hear their stories, get to hear about their relationship with the Lord. And in these little interviews, just having a chance to draw that out a little bit and trying to highlight different aspects of people's stories where the Holy Spirit is working, where Jesus is really clearly present, has really been a great joy for I think both of us, just to see the witness of the people in the parish.
No, yeah, I'd agree too, because this is my first time, I guess, doing apostolate with St. Charles. I was at another seminary past 2 years. I had a different kind of style, so this is new for me. I was a little nervous, but then, coming here to St. Patrick's, getting to know the people, and it's been a real blessing. A lot of you all actually have been really, really welcoming, and really appreciate it. And as Michael was saying, it's like a blessing to get to hear what some of you all have been saying, or your path in life and the faith. And it's like each story is unique, and it all leads to God, just leads to God. It's really kind of cool getting to see that, be able to witness that as well.
Yeah. Well, I think even with both of you, answering the Lord's call to join the seminary is witness in of itself. Is there a particular person or experience that either one of you might want to share that led you to where you are right now?
I guess for me it was like my last few years in college. I went to a postulate house in Philly, and I was deciding whether or not to fill out an application to seminary, and it was just that I saw a painting there that had St. Francis of Assisi reaching up to Jesus on the cross, and Jesus reaching down to him, and kind of like there was like 2 angels holding an open book with the words that said, "He who does not abandon himself cannot be my disciple." And so that after seeing that, I felt God ask me, like, if you want to be my disciple, are you willing to give everything up? And it honestly terrified me. And it terrified me, yeah. I didn't know if I was. And then I spent some time with prayer with it. And then the next day, I went with these Capuchins out to Kensington Park. And we were giving food to people who were, suffering. And that question came up again. And I felt like a great sense of peace. Like I said, yeah, I think I can. And so when I got home, I filled out an application. I was accepted. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and I think for me, the idea of entering seminary, pursuing the priesthood, wasn't something that I had dreamed about since I was a kid. It wasn't really something on my radar. And actually, I was in grad school doing a master's of accounting. I was in a relationship, thought that marriage was kind of the path I was going down. And then just something didn't quite feel right with that. I could feel something wasn't quite right with that, but I didn't know what that meant exactly. And actually, this is a neat connection with St. Charles. I remember this was 2015, I was watching Pope Francis's visit to Philadelphia. And it's one of those moments where it's hard to really put into words. I think we all kind of have those moments where it's hard to describe it, but I remember seeing him at the seminary and just seeing the seminarians and seeing St. Charles, the old campus, and something inside kind of just stirred. And again, I can't describe it in more like different terms than that. It's just one of those moments where I remember that, but it's hard to put into words exactly what that was and what that feeling was. But that was kind of that first real, I think, nudge that the Lord was kind of pointing me to. Hey, this is something that I might be inviting you to. And then I spent the next 5-6 years fighting that. It took me a long time. So I had that initial moment, like Josh kind of expressed. There's a fear that kind of sets in initially, I think, when you first feel that call. But then God is very patient. He's very kind. He's very gentle. And over the 5, 6, 7 years that I was working, He slowly but surely brought me closer to Him. And it was through that He helped me see that this invitation that I was resisting may actually be what He was calling me to, and may actually be the place where I would find the peace and fulfillment that I think myself and all of us desire.
I would agree with that. You talked about how the Lord was working in both of you, and there's times where you were fighting back or resistant. I think we all do that. In those experiences, is there anyone in your family or friends or anyone that you confided in that helped you to get where you are right now? Did you experience along the way anyone that was like, are you crazy? You really want to do that? Or were there other people in your life that were like, you know what, I could really see that for you, and don't ignore that call and continue to take that to prayer?
I think for me it was something that oftentimes I didn't want to express it out loud because I thought people might see it. So again, as part of that fighting, there was a resistance to bring it to the light because, yeah, what if this is actually what I'm called to? And so for me, for a long time, there was, I think, a fear in kind of bringing that forward. But then in different friends, and in particular in different priests that I got to know when I was working, just some really good, holy priests who I would see their witness to living out the priesthood, to living out this life of holiness in this particular vocation. And that kind of opened me up, I think, a little more to pursuing that. And, when I shared with them that this was something I was thinking about, when I shared it with some other good friends of mine, and they all were kind of like, yeah, that could kind of fit. And again, it took me, I think, longer internally to see that and accept that. But it definitely was telling that the people around me, the people who knew me really well, could see that this thing that was stirring inside may actually, that would fit your personality, who you are, and what God has created you for.
Yeah, for me, it's I had kind of a mix of different kinds of experiences. Some people would say, are you sure you want to do something like that? But most of the time, though, it's been I've had a lot of support, especially from my family, who they've always been helping me out a lot. Even now, they're still helping me out, which I'm really grateful for. It's a blessing to have, family, people close to you that can support you as well, especially with your vocational discernment. So I feel like, my family has been like a big pillar for me, I guess, that they've helped me out a lot with, just with my own discernment and I guess my growth as well. So.
And I think something, especially with the seminary, but I think any vocation as well, we're the ones who are in formation directly, but our families and friends they're kind of learning what that looks like as well. Like they know Michael, they know Josh in these other ways, but now they're kind of learning about us and knowing us in a bit of a different light. And so that's one thing that's been interesting for me, I think, especially with my family, with my parents and sisters. I think they're kind of along this journey with me as well. I'm very supportive, but I think they're also growing and understanding what this looks like, what it would be like to have a son who's a priest. And so it's a great blessing to have good family and friends around us to help support us in this journey.
Yeah, I asked that because I think even now too, like, to be a Catholic, sometimes people are even afraid to say that they are Catholic, that they are practicing the faith. There are people that are struggling in their own families because faith is a point of contention for them. So I think, in how we can be witnesses of the faith, especially in today's world, can be a challenge for us. And this whole idea of witnessing and what that word actually means. And I think even when we ask our parishioners to share their witness, they might be like, well, what does that mean? You know? And you've been meeting with parishioners and encouraging them to share their stories. So in using that word, what would that mean?
The word witness.
Yeah, witness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think something that's been interesting that we've learned about in seminary this semester is the word for witness. The Greek word is actually like martyr. So that word, the word, what we know of as martyrs, the people who die for their faith. That the Greek word is actually meant witness originally, and then over the centuries, especially in the early church, that took on a different meaning, right? Whereas this dying for the faith, and I think those who died for their faith in a real way, there was no doubt where they stood about the faith. They were willing to give up their life for Christ, for this church, for the faith, and I think the martyrs, it's obviously a very clear example of that, but sometimes the challenge can be like, well, nowadays there's not this great persecution in the same way that there was in the early church, and how do we live that witness out intentionally and in a very purposeful way? And I think that for me, like in the working world, like kind of like you said, like not being afraid to be a Catholic, to be a Christian, not being afraid to tell someone, hey, I'm going to Mass this weekend. Would you want to come with me? Not being afraid to invite someone to do that, and just share about your faith, share about the joy. I think that's one of the greatest parts of the faith is that it's meant to be a joyful thing, and we as Catholics should want other people to share in the joy that we found in the faith, in a life with Christ. And so I think, yes, there could be some hesitancy. What is someone going to say? What if they don't? But like, what if they're just waiting for you to invite them to the faith? What if they're looking for that joy that you have, and you're just kind of holding on to it yourself? Like we should be open with our faith. We should be willing to share it, to share that joy. Yeah. But to share that, to share the joy that we've experienced, to bring others into that joy as well.
That was, the videos that Josh and Michael have been falling under this banner of St. Patrick is spreading Catholic joy. And this was all originated, you might recall, back in the spring of last year, where several members of the parish council introduced that to the parish. And we want to hear from you what has inspired you in your faith, and what continues to bring you to church and continues to bring you to practice the faith and enjoy and love the Catholic faith. And we've developed a series of questions to help you reflect on your faith journey. And we've been sharing them with Josh and Michael, and they have been, in turn, meeting parishioners along the way, asking them specific questions. And now we want to put that out there parish-wide to let anyone who feels called to maybe think a little deeper and reflect on their faith journey, and then to be able to share that. And Michael and Josh, then we call upon you during the week, and we set up interviews with different people in the parish, and it's been a great way for you to get to meet people and to help them feel comfortable talking about their faith story, because it's not something that you do every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like a lot of what we've heard so far from people, it's kind of like reminds me of the scriptures, right? When Jesus says, like you don't like a lamp in your room and just cover it in a basket. This is meant for something that should be shared with everyone. And so having a platform like this is a way to kind of live that out. And so like with these questions as well, it's also like an invitation for you all to kind of shine that light as well on others.
Yeah, and it can be hard. I would encourage people. I totally get that it can be hard to share your own story. It can be hard to be a little vulnerable, to be willing to go deeper and to see what's going on in your own life. I totally get that. One of the challenges at seminary is that, yeah, you're given a lot of opportunities to do that, to share about your faith, to reflect on how the Lord is working in your life, and especially early on, that was hard for me. That can be a challenge. So, but the way that we get better is by reflecting on it more, by practicing it, by sharing that faith. And so, like as Jen is saying, I would really encourage everyone to look through the questions. I think you don't have to answer every question. Mm-hmm. It's not a mandatory thing either, but it is really meant to be an opportunity to reflect on your own life and how the Lord is working in your life. And if it's one of those things where you're really struggling with it, like call the parish and Josh and I can come talk to you and like help draw that out, and we'd be happy to facilitate that as well. So again, I understand that it can be a challenge and a struggle, and I've been there myself, but it's definitely worth doing, because the better we can witness to it, the better we can bring others into this Catholic faith which we love.
Exactly. So this questions meant for reflection, you'll be able to find the link to be able to look at those underneath today's flock note, underneath our video today. And then at your own convenience, leisure, you can look through them, answer them. Myself and other members of the parish council will have access to all of them, and then be able to share them with Josh and Michael. And then, as they said, they would be willing to come and meet you and to learn more about your story and to help you in facilitating that as well. So we thank you both for this great experience. We love having you here at St. Patrick. And I think one of these great things about these videos has been a neat way for the parishioners to get to know both of you, since you're only here on Thursdays. In the past, a lot of our seminarians would be able to spend the whole summer with us, so we would get to meet them in a different context and see them more frequently. So when you're only here on Thursday, this has been a great way, I think, to get you out there to meet the people as well. Yeah.
It's been a great joy, and again, these videos have been an awesome opportunity to, like you're saying, connect with people outside of just the people who are here on Thursdays, and so it's definitely been a great blessing to be able to share these videos with people.
Well, thank you. Look forward to, we'll see what comes with next week. So until then, thank you, Mike and Josh.
Yeah,
and God bless everyone.
Bye.
Bye.